Today, please.
Okay. Om Ajnanatimmirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshuru Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Namobhishtam Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Gurum Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Pitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakalitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hariti Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaeva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Nation Prabhu, how are you? Okay. So, Hare Krishna, we are reading the Srimad Bhagavatam. We are on Canto 2, Chapter 6, and the text for today is text 46. Anybody would like to read? Will Mataji joins in?
I can read, Mataji.
Okay, so text 46.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Canto 2, Chapter 6, verse 46. Purusha Sukta confirmed. Pradhanyato yamrisa amananti Leelavataran Purushasya Bhumnaha Apiyaptam Karnakasaya Ososan Anukramisye the Iman Superstan. So we do that word to word. Pradhanyantaha, chiefly, yan all those. Rishi, O Narada. Amananti, worship. Leela, pastimes. Avataran, incarnations. Purushasya, of the personality of Godhead. Bhumnaha, the supreme. Apiyatam, in order to relish by you. Karna, ears. Kasaya, foul matter. Soshan, that which evaporates. Anukramisye, shall state one after another. Te, they.
they,
Iman, as they are in my heart.
Imam, as they are in my heart.
Supesan, all pleasing to hear.
Supesan, all pleasing to hear. Hare Krishna.
Translation.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you very much. Radhika Mataji has joined.
Oh, Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna. Thank you so much for reading the word. Hare Krishna, Radhika Mataji, Danvat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. And
Hare Krishna.
from everybody who have joined the group and are about to join. Mataji, we are reading the Srimad Bhagavatam. We are on Canto 2, Chapter 6, which is Puruksha Shukta confirmed. And we are on the last text today. Mataji, so I hand over to you. Hare Krishna.
Right. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna-prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashaita Dishatarini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Narayanam Namaskrityam, Naram Chaiva Narottamam, Devim Saraswatim Vyasam, Tato Jayam Udire, Srinuvata Swagata Krishna, Punya Shravana Kirtanaha, Kritayantasto Bhadrani, Vidunoti Sugrit Satam, Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, Bhagavati Uttama Sloke, Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So, as Mataji mentioned, we are in the last verse for the sixth canto. For the second canto, sixth chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam. So it's been a good set of verses that you have been learning. And again, if you're going to look at the summary of what is being learned so far, we saw about the first 17 verses spoke about Brahma's answers to Yacha, that is Lord as the material cause and the efficient cause of the universe. That was spoken. And then 18 to 22nd, I remember teaching you about Ekapada Vibhuti versus Tripada Vibhuti, where we spoke about the spiritual world versus the material world. And we also saw that Lord is the shelter of the paths of knowledge and enjoyment. And he is aloof from the material world. In addition, if you look at 23rd to 30th, we saw answer to question number 6. Where does Brahma collect his ingredients from? Brahma collects the ingredients for the sacrifice from the Lord's limbs. Brahma's testimony that Lord is also the material cause. If you think I'm just I'm the one who's manufacturing the the material ingredients required for the sacrifice. No, you are mistaken. I am not the one. It is Lord from whose limbs we collect Brahmaji collects the ingredients needed for the sacrifice. In this way, he is able to prove the fact that the Lord is the material cause. And then there is also an answer to the question number Q2, that is Yet Adhishtanam, Yet Param. That is Lord Narayana's empowerment, through that only Brahmaji creates. Again, he clarifies the point that, see, is it possible to know the Lord? If you are asking me this question, is it possible? No, it is not at all possible to completely know the Lord. And again, Naraji, you have to understand that my words, my thoughts, and my actions are never false, because Hari is in my heart. Whatever I speak, when it comes through my words, action, and thoughts, they are never false. And I cannot understand the Lord. Still, let us glorify him. Even though I cannot understand him completely, still, why should we stop? The point of glorifying the Lord. Let us all glorify Him. And now, if you look at this, is what you have seen till 38th verse. And again, see, I hold Hari in my heart with great zeal. Therefore, my words are never false. The working of my mind is never false. My senses are never distracted. So he clarifies this in 34. And 35, he's saying, I cannot understand the Lord, although I am in the disciplic succession of Vedic wisdom, filled with austerities, worshipped by the Prajapatis, and I am also the expert of mystic powers and self realization. So I have all these qualities in me. But do you think I can understand the Lord? No, I cannot understand the Lord, although I have these following four qualities or attributes. And then he says, even though the Lord himself is unable to estimate his own limits, what to speak of others? See, the Lord himself, he cannot estimate his glories. That is the extent of his glories. It's infinite. And what about others? If I don't know my glory, then who will know? Who else will know? You're able to understand. It's a beautiful point that is being clarified here, devotees. If Lord Himself doesn't know is unable to estimate His own glories, what to speak of others? Therefore, it is best for me, that is myself, Brahmaji, to surrender to who? To surrender onto Lord's lotus feet. What it can do? When I surrender, it destroys the material existence and it brings lot of auspiciousness, and then it allows one to perceive all happiness. Dear devotees, this is applicable for us also. He is all auspicious. He is the one who can destroy our birth, death, old age, that cycle, that samsara cycle, the existence, the material existence, the cycle that we go through. Who can destroy? Only Lord can destroy. And he is all auspicious. And then he allows one to perceive happiness through when you come in touch with him. That is when you perceive happiness. Till then we don't know what happiness is, because we were thinking this flickering happiness this material world brings, that is happiness. Not at all. The touch of the Lord, the touch when we come across his holy names, that brings happiness. The touch of Mahaprasad, that gives happiness. The touch of the lotus feet of the devotees, that brings happiness. This is what is true happiness that we are talking about, not the flickering happiness this material world offers. And that is what he is telling. Even though the Lord himself is unable to estimate his own limits, what to speak of others? Therefore, I am surrendering on to the Supreme Lord, who can destroy the material existence, who brings all auspiciousness onto us, and then who allows us to perceive all happiness. He is the reservoir of happiness. When we go to the reservoir, we also get a teeny tiny bit of it, right? I, Shiva, and you cannot ascertain the limits of spiritual happiness, then what to speak of other demigods? The limit is infinite. When you talk about happiness, the spirituality brings, the spiritual happiness brings, that is not at all comparable. It is beyond any limit. And what to speak of other demigods? If I cannot ascertain the limits of spiritual happiness, then how can the demigods ascertain that? Is it possible for them to ascertain? No way. Really? That's what, bewildered by Maya, we can only see this material manifested cosmos according to our individual ability. What does that mean, dear devotees? According to our individual ability, meaning we all have a frame of mind, right? Within this mind, we just wear different glasses, and through the glasses, we see certain things and we perceive certain things depending upon the glass we wear. Sometimes we think ourselves to be the mind, sometimes we think ourselves to be the body, the senses. So, this is what we perceive, and this is what we think it's reality, because it's so real. It just is so real. I'm able to understand, yes, I'm a fat person, I'm a tiny person, or I'm the CEO. I'm able to relate to it because it feels so real. But those false designations lead us to nowhere. We at least theoretically, we should be very much convinced of the fact that we are the servants of the Lord. And all we are trying to do at this point is to understand and come out of that theoretical knowledge to understand we are the servant of the servant of the servant of the Lord. And for that, we need association of devotees. And for that, we need association of Srimad Bhagavatam, association of Bhagavad Gita, association of our Acharyas, association of Srila Prabhupada, our Guru Maharaj. So through these, we are able to slowly get those bhakti vrittis in us, and that would help us get to understand our true identity. It is a slow process, but once we understand that we are not this body, we are not, then we are not going to see this manifested cosmos the way it is. We will be able to see everything as Krishna. It's like Lord is the material cause. Now we understand theoretically Lord is the material cause, but in practicality, we will be able to realize that Lord is the material cause. And we will be able to see Krishna in everything, even in this manifested cosmos. That is the glory, dear devotees. This is what Srimad Bhagavatam is all about. It gives us the perspective to things, and it helps us to envision what we are going to see when we understand our true identity. Isn't it great? Srimad Bhagavatam is Amala Puran, and the glorification is what we are going to see in today's verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. It is talking about the first canto, fifth chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, where there is a discussion that goes on to understand the glory of Srimad Bhagavatam. So we will see that shortly. So now, see, he came to a conclusion. Yes, I cannot glorify the Lord. If I, Shiva, and you cannot ascertain the limits of spiritual happiness, then what to speak of other demigods? They cannot. But still, let us glorify his activities. Oh, because we don't know his glories, can we just stop glorifying him? No. Still, let us glorify his activities when he appears in the various incarnations, though we cannot fully understand him. There is a caveat there. We still glorify him. That is the important point. We are not stopping there to say, yeah, I'm done with my glorification. Or sorry, I'm done. I don't know. I don't understand Krishna. So I'm just not in a position to glorify him. No, we don't say that. Still, with our limited knowledge or with our limited understanding, we still glorify him. Right? This is what is being conveyed from the verses 34 to 38, dear devotees. Now, now 39 to 46. So here it's described that if you look at these set of verses, what is being talked about is Brahma describes the original creator Mahavishnu. And then, so he talks about the qualities of the Lord. He is the absolute truth. He is pure without any material tinge. He is the embodiment of full and perfect knowledge. He is all pervading. He is without beginning and end and without rival. So he kind of explains the qualities of the Lord in the 40th verse. And how do I know him? What is what is the way that I could know him? Great thinkers who are completely free from material hankerings and who have controlled senses can know him. Can you understand this point? They are free from material hankerings. This is very difficult, dear devotees. If you look at how much hankering you have, that can be understood by your daily interactions and daily activities that you perform. Say, for example, you are given an opportunity to, make more money in your office. Are you willing to let go of that opportunity? They say, oh, you just need to work 3 extra hours and you'll be paid a big sum of money. Now, what does your true reality say? I mean, what do you say to that? What do you say to your boss? He's telling you you're going to get 150%, not 100%, but you'll be compensated 150% that extra 3 hours that you work. Right? Immediately, oh yeah, I'm getting extra money. I'm going to be given some allowances. why not I take up this opportunity? It's coming on my way. It's, my boss has been very pleased with my work. That's why he wants me to take up this extra workload, and he's paying me enough, more than enough. Why not I take it? It's very, very immediate feeling that anybody would have, right? I just work extra 3 hours. Maybe you know what? Your mind will say, let me retire early. Just by working 3 hours extra, maybe for a couple of 3 years, 4 years, this is how the mind will convince us. And we fall prey to the mind and say, yeah, you're right, mind. I'll just take up this offer, just work maybe another 5 years, getting 150% extra, and then take it easy or retire. And retirement will never come. You just keep saying retire, retire, retire. And this is applicable to me first, and then all of you, dear devotees. This is reality. How much cravings we have for this material world will be known when you are put across situations. And how do you react to that kind of a situation? Do you say no because you feel that sadhana is very important for me, and hence I'm discarding this activity from a heart of hearts? Like, you just don't have any sort of regret leaving that opportunity. In some cases, you understand, yes, this is wrong, and in a very what do you call, like, in a very disgusted mood, you just say, oh, let me just give up this activity because it's not good for me. But in the inner heart, you feel that the opportunity is missed. You crave for it. Oh, it's been a longing opportunity that I've been craving for, and I got it. Now I'm just letting go of it, Krishna. I'm just not feeling good about it. You may not be fully convinced to even let go of that activity, but you're doing it so you can do your devotional activity. But in the back of the mind, you constantly think about it. Why did I leave it? I should have just taken it. So, dear devotees, till we get pure, meaning till we understand the only goal is Krishna, that is why we have to take inspiration from our brahmacharis, uh, Maharajas. They have had, I mean, how difficult it is to leave a job, how difficult it is to say no when you are, say, for example, if you take His Holiness Romapad Swami Maharaj, right? He he was about to do his medical. He got his admissions in SUNY Buffalo University for pre-med, and he was all set. Imagine the remuneration that he would get after he became a doctor, after he completes the course. And because of the association of pure devotee like Srila Prabhupada, his heart completely transformed. He said, no, I'm not doing this medical school and wasting my life doing medical school. How how did it happen? It just took him, uh, he came in association of pure devotees, heard Srila Prabhupada's lectures, and the process heart got transformed because he's hearing it from a pure devotee. And then he said no to his medical profession. After that, his vyavasayatmika buddhi ekeha kurunantam. That's it. Dear devotees, this is what is one pointed focus. This is what we have to strive for. I'm just telling this to myself because I'm not there yet. I have to be there. I have to say no. I just have to have this one pointed focus in my practice of devotional sadhana because life is very short. I know everything is temporary. Whatever I earn, I'm not going to take it away with me. Whatever I earn, how much can I use it? All I need is just a little bit of food to eat and clothes to wear. And then what? So if I'm going to save, if I'm working now, it's more so for my next generation. I'm trying to save for my next generation. And that is not an attitude of a Brahmana. A Brahmana doesn't want to save, he just goes day by day. So we have to see where we are in terms of material hankering. This is a very, very important term which is lightly taken. Because I'm a grahastha, I have to support my family. Yes, you have to support your family, you do your duty. Again, it should not be misrepresented, right? As grahasthas, we are supposed to follow. But what I'm saying is when you go overboard, that is when trouble comes because you're not having enough time for sadhana. Your sadhana is hampered at the cost of material activities. This is where we need to strike a balance. That's all I'm saying. Because again, I don't want anybody in this class to misrepresent what I'm talking about. Oh, are you asking me to leave my job that I have currently and then just chant Hare Krishna? We are not there yet to chant Hare Krishna all day. No. We are just in the process of getting purified. To the extent we are able to increase our time in sadhana, to that extent we are getting purified, dear devotees. It's not possible for everybody to do bhajan the whole time. And that's why some time of the day we are doing karma arpanam, meaning we are working and then we are offering it to the Lord. And then some part of the day we are able to do bhajan, and some part of the day we are engaging in some other activity because we are not there yet to continuously focus on Harinam and Harikatha. But that is where we need to be. Because as I told you, Anya Abhilashita Shunyam, Jnana Karmadi Anavritam, Anukulyena Krishnanushilanam Bhakti Rutama. This is where there should be no break to devotion. It has to be done continuously. That is our goal. For that goal to be reached, how we are going to plan our life, it's all in our hands. Nobody has control of it but us. But again, for that, we need the mercy of the pure devotees. Because those who have that only can give us that pure devotion. A person who has $100 can give us $10. If I don't have 100 or if I don't have more than 10, how can I give you 10? It's not possible. So, again, the mercy of the pure devotees is very important. Get to the path of pure devotion. Till then, we keep aspiring. We try to slowly increase our bhajan. And when opportunities come on the way, as far as material activities go, we have to curb or at least find a way to say no wholeheartedly. And this mentality has to be developed slowly. Initially, you just work, okay, and then you understand the futility of it, and then say, okay, I understand this is futile. It's not going to lead me anywhere. I have enough money to keep myself intact, meaning I have money to take care of myself and my family. I don't need any more. So when this mentality comes, then there could be more time that could be spent on the bhajan. This is what is the principle, dear devotees. Now, Brahmaji is saying, let us glorify his activities when he appears as various incarnations, though we cannot fully understand him. And then he talks about the qualities of the Lord. And how do we know him? Great thinkers who are completely free from material hankerings and who have controlled senses can know him. Controlled senses. This is very important term. Vacho vegam, manasa krodha vegam, jihva vegam. That is controlled senses. That person can know him. But by untenable arguments, the Lord disappears from one's sight. Of course, if you are going to do untenable arguments, then Lord is going to go away. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains that again he also describes about the Lord's impersonal aspect, and the great thinkers know it by controlling the mind and the senses. And then he talks about Karnodaksha Vishnu, the first incarnation of the Lord. He is the master of eternal time, space, cause and effects, mind, elements, ego and modes. And Karbodaksha Vishnu, Karnodaksha Vishnu enters into the universe as Karbodaksha Vishnu, and he is the sum total of all living entities. None of the material things are are the Lord's Swarupa. Anyone from Brahma down to the insects and anything in this world having various qualities may appear to be the specific truth and the form of the Lord, but none of these are his Swarupa, but they are only a fragment of his transcendental potency. So that's what is being clarified in the verses 43 to 45. Now he's telling, yes, I've told you all about the original creator Mahavishnu. Now I'm going to describe his Leela avatars. Leela avatars are composed of his Chit Shakti, which are pleasing to hear and are to be relished. Hearing of these will counteract all foul matters accumulated in the air. So foul matter accumulated in the air. Dear devotees, as I told you last class also, everything is accumulated into our mind. It's all garbage that is there. And that is why we have our internal enemy, who's the mind. And how can that be cleansed? Only by imprinting bhakti vrittis over and over can these impurities in the mind be removed. So it's very important that we pay important attention to what gets stored into our mind. Okay, so anything, it could be a picture that we see that can if it's a bad picture, then it gets imprinted on our mind, and it's just so tough to erase. As I told you, there is an emotion that is associated with the picture with which you put it in the mind. So more the emotions, then more is going to be difficult to be raised. So again, dear devotees, a very important concept when it comes to a mind, how much garbage we accumulate. Uh, to that extent, we have to keep imprinting bhakti vrittis more and more and more so that it gets overshadowed. All right. And now let's get into the verse for today and understand that in depth. All right. Okay. So we will go to Srila Prabhupada's purport and then understand this verse in specific. Okay. All right, dear devotees, because this is the last verse, I just want to make sure that everybody understands the context of why this is spoken. O Narada, now I shall state one after the other the transcendental incarnations of the Lord known as Leela avatars. Hearing of these activities counteracts all the foul matters accumulated in the ear. These pastimes are pleasing to hear and are to be relished. Therefore, they are in my heart. Because these pastimes are very pleasing to the ear, pleasing to hear, and are to be relished. And that is why they are staying in my heart. And again, dear devotees, when will it stay in our heart? Only when we are attached to something, it will stay in our heart. If we do not consider something to be pleasing, then will it stay in our heart? No. So, very important to understand that when we think something is pleasing, and when we really enjoy it, and when we are attached to that particular pastime, particular narration, then it will stick to our heart. It's very difficult to get to our heart. Whatever we hear, not everything goes to our heart. When we become attached to the particular concept, when we start to introspect to the particular concept that is being spoken in Srimad Bhagavatam, when we are able to be an observer in the katha, those are the things that would impact, and those are the things that would help a devotee to take it to the heart. There is a difference now. When you chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, there is a difference. You chant with the lip service, yes, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And then there is the feeling attached to it. Now you chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra with a feeling, and connect it with your heart and your mind. When you take it to the mind level, that is no more lip service. It's not lip service anymore. That is how the Naam becomes Prem Naam. And when it becomes a Prem Naam, when it's filled with the love, can a person stop that chanting of the glories of the holy names of the Lord? When you have that love attached to the name, when there is Prem Naam, can you stop chanting? Haridas Thakur was able to do this much rounds without any fatigue, without any tiredness. How? He was in love. Then the Prem Naam was chanted. Right? Dear devotees, this is the important point. That is why we cannot imitate them. Because I don't have prema. I cannot imitate Haridas Thakur. Because I'm not there yet. You're able to understand, dear devotees. This is very important. Sometimes we want to imitate a lot of things uh, that is being done by other devotees. But we are not there yet. We need to understand what our level is. Okay. And then slowly progress, slowly increase. First, let's increase our time from 1 hour to 2 hours. Then increase it to 3 hours. We can do it slowly, but we cannot imitate others. Somebody may do Nirjal. Every Ekadasi they can do Nirjal. I'm not there yet because my body conditions, you can give many excuses why we are not there. We don't have the mercy yet. We are not there at that level. But the point is, that is the level we have to be. To get to the Prem Nam, that is where we need to go. But I'm not there yet. As long as you know what the goal is and you are clear and heading in the right direction to go towards that goal, we are very safe, dear devotees. And that is why there should be no question of envy and jealousy. Why? Because what is going to happen when you become envious of a devotee? The mercy that you may get from Krishna is put on hold now because you are envious of that devotee. Because you're going to fall down step by step. You climb the ladder. You are really at the top of the ladder and one step to go to God. But then you became envious of this devotee. Oh my God, this devotee is just doing so much sadhana, so this thing. And you start getting that aversion and do certain things to a devotee, then you fall down. This is how our life is. We try to climb and then we reach a point and then do some offense to a devotee and then fall down. So let's be, it's between you and Krishna. This is the exchange. Love means it's between two people. Why should you worry? Krishna has the heart to accommodate billions and billions of devotees. It's not that, say, for example, you go, job interview is there, and you attend the job interview, and there's only one vacancy, and that one person only gets the job, and you do not qualify for it, or you qualify for it. That position is closed. It's not like that. Krishna's heart can accommodate billions of devotees. He can accommodate me, he can accommodate you, he can accommodate Renuka Mataji, Priya Mataji, Dunga Prabhuji, Dennis Prabhu, Doreen Mataji, Induleka Mataji, everybody he can accommodate. This was a very good learning for me, dear devotees. Because our material mind always narrows our thinking. It doesn't let us have a broad heart. It just says, oh, Krishna is meant only for me. That devotee, how can he approach Krishna with such love? No, he's meant for me. No, I can't allow that. I'll do more sadhana. I'll show who I am to Krishna. No, this is Krishna. Every living entity is connected to Krishna. Every living entity has a relationship with Krishna. And that is what every living entity desires to fulfill. And we should not come in the way of any devotees. It's between them and Krishna. That is the problem. Because Krishna thinks all his devotees are close to his heart. If something is done to his devotee, then you are going to fall down. Wherever you are, you're going to fall down, for sure. So please keep this in mind, dear devotees. He's for everyone and everybody. And we should just have that one-on-one relationship between you and Krishna. That's it. And everybody else, they are all well-wishers of Krishna. They are all servants of Krishna. And hence you have to serve them. You have to show love to them. If somebody loves Krishna, you should also love Krishna. I mean, you should also love that person who loves Krishna. Right? This is the mentality we should develop and pray for. And these are small, small things. These are small, small things, but they come in our way. And that's why we are not there. So let's try our best to indulge ourselves in things that we should not. And we pray for Krishna's mercy that let me become a good devotee of yours. Nothing but a good devotee, nothing less than a good devotee. Okay. And then, dear devotees, here in this particular verse, it's being spoken the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam 1.5.8. That is the first chapter, first canto, fifth chapter, eighth verse. One cannot fully be satisfied by hearing unless and until one is given a chance to hear the transcendental activities of the Lord. So Brahmaji is also trying in this verse to stress the importance of narrating the transcendental pastimes of the Lord as he comes and manifests here on the surface of the material planets. Every living entity has a tendency to hear pleasing messages, and as such, almost every one of us is inclined to hear the news and talks broadcast by radio stations. But the difficulty is no one is satisfied at heart by hearing all those messages. The cause of such dissatisfaction is the incompatibility of the message with the innermost stratum of the living soul. This transcendental literature is especially prepared by Srila Vyasadeva to give us the utmost satisfaction to the people in general by narration of the activities of the Lord as instructed by Sri Narada Muni to Vyasadeva. Such activities of the Lord are principally two varieties. One concerns the mundane manifestation of the material creative force, and other deals with the pastimes in the form of different incarnations in terms of time and place. There are innumerable incarnations like the waves of the river flowing constantly in and out. Less intelligent persons take out interest in creative forces of the Lord in the material world. And being disconnected from the relationship with the Lord, they put forward many theories in the creation in the name of scientific research. The devotees of the Lord, however, know well how the creative forces work concurrently, the action and reaction of the material energy of the Lord. Therefore, they take more interest in the transcendental activities of the Lord as he incarnates himself on the surface of the material world. Srimad Bhagavatam is the history of such activities of the Lord, and people who take interest in hearing Srimad Bhagavatam clear their hearts of accumulated mundane filth. There are thousand and one rash literatures on the market, but one who has taken interest in Srimad Bhagavatam loses interest in all those filth literatures. Sri Brahmaji is thus attempting to narrate the principal incarnations of the Lord so they can be drunk by Narada as the transcendental nectar. So, dear devotees, so here you should very well understand the fact that we spoke about Krishna as the cause of all causes. And then we understood he's the material cause, he's the efficient cause. And now, okay, you understood that all the ingredients that are needed for the sacrifice also come from the limb of the Lord. So you understand he's the material cause. And now, after understanding that Krishna is responsible for this material universe and material cause, now you are going to dive into the Leela avatars to discuss about transcendental pastimes of the Lord. So you understand he's the material cause. He's also, the cause of all causes. So when you look at his incarnations and how beautiful his incarnations are, you will be really drinking the nectar of Krishna Katha. This is what I want you to relish, my dear Narada. You are going to be in the world of transcendental nectar. And I want you to relish after hearing, okay, he is the material, this thing. And now he is going to, how he performs his spiritual incarnations and what are his leelas, what are his activities, what did he do there, you will be really amazed by the activities of the Lord. So, all the filth in your ear is going to be removed because now you're going to hear something transcendental. And because of this, everything that whatever the filth that has been accumulated in the heart and the mind, everything is going to go away, and we are going to be promoted to a new world, which is the world of transcendental happiness. This is what our Brahmaji is telling Narada, and for that he's giving a good, beautiful contrast, dear devotees. Contrast is what is very important to understand. Now, there is this quotation of verse 1.5.8. I'm going to explain briefly. Let's just talk about it, what that means. And after that, your relishment to Srimad Bhagavatam will further increase. Because, See, here in the fifth chapter, first canto, what is happening is Vyasadev, he's a Bhagavat avatar, okay, and still he was despondent. Why he is despondent being a Bhagavat avatar? The reason is Krishna wanted to appear as Srimad Bhagavatam. And second reason is discussion between Narada and Vyasa was supposed to happen so everyone would understand the teachings of bhakti from Narada. And bhakti is superior to moksha. That is the best. That will also be understood. So Vyasadeva, he sat on the banks of river Saraswati and contemplated. Oh, what can I do? These people of Kali Yuga are there. I have to do some good to the people of Kali Yuga. To achieve this and to benefit all Varna and Ashrama, Vyasadeva divided one Veda into 4 Vedas and compiled the Puranas and the historical narration of Mahabharata. Again, if you look at him, his heart was not at all pleased. He was contemplating, oh, what is the reason for my despondency? And Narada Muni is coming there. At that point in time, he arrived at his cottage. Narada Muni, he is the spiritual master of Vyasadeva. He is the son of great Brahma, as we know. He's the creator of the universe, who's the pure devotee of the Lord. And Narada was superior to Vyasadeva in every respect, meaning seniority, knowledge, bhakti. And hence, Vyasadeva immediately got up and he began to worship. Oh my God, Narada has come. I have to worship him. This was the setting of the scene. And Vyasadeva welcomed Narada and worshipped him. Oh, how did he do that? He offered him some water, he cleaned his legs, he cleaned his hands, and then provided some items. When it comes to worship, however he could worship him, he just provided some items with which he could worship him. This was sort of what was happening. And then, as you all can understand, there is a saying, right? I mean, so now one important thing is a slight smile appeared on Narada's lips, it seems. The question may arise, why Narji smiled like that? So being a Sarvagnya, a pure devotee of the Lord, he could sense what was in the heart of Vyasadeva. And he knew that Vyasadeva would be asking him questions about why he was despondent. In addition, he could not hide his smile by pretending, or, that was not a characteristic of Narada. And now, as you all can understand, the second verse talks about, oh, you know what? Face is the index of the mind. So Narada Muni could see Vyasadev's face and he could understand, yes, look at Vyasadeva. Vyasadeva is definitely despondent. And then there is a dialogue that is happening between Narada Muni and Vyasadeva. Narada Muni asked him, what is the reason for your despondency? And he's already giving him answers for that. Could be 2 reasons. Can one who thinks the self to be the body be happy with that body? And then he's saying, can one who thinks the self to be his mind be happy with the mind? So the point is, one who identifies himself with the body or the mind, he's never going to be happy, right? So this is the first point he's bringing. In this case, hey, I understand, Vyasadeva, you do not identify yourself with either body or your mind. And you're from a family of great lineage. You're a great fortunate soul. Then why am I seeing unhappiness in you? I'm very, very surprised. What is the cause for your despondency? See, the main uh, the main point you should understand here is Narad Muni is just not coming to the point. Hey, Vyasa, this is the reason for your despondency. No, he's having this dialogue. He's having this conversation with our Vyasadev to help him understand and rule out all the options of what is not the reason for his despondency. You're able to understand my point. He could have just immediately said, you know what? This is exactly the reason for why you're despondent. But he didn't do that. There was the dialogue that was happening between Narad Muni and Vyasadev, one by one, ruling out all the options for why that those are not the reason for his despondency. You know what? If you fail in an exam, you just say, hey, you should just have put answers this and this, and that would have taken care of your problem. You'd have passed. Now, if this is a multiple choice, if you are asking your sons to understand, oh, why this is not a answer, why this is not the answer, why, then you come and say, this is the answer. Then your son will very much understand, okay, I understand why those are not the options, those have to be eliminated, and now I know the right answer. That sticks to your heart, isn't it? That sticks to your mind. Rather than just say, done, this is the answer. Just mug it up. Right? Being, I think Kritika Mataji being a professor, she knows how to tackle these type of things with our students. So how you communicate matters more, and how you eliminate the options, that helps more with a deeper understanding. So this was what was happening with Narada Muni. And then Narada is still trying to find out what is the reason for his despondency. One of the reason he thinks of Vyasadev's lamentation is the lack of theoretical knowledge of scriptures. So Vyasa, lack of knowledge of scriptures will lead one to lamentation. In your case, you know what? You wrote Mahabharata. And this Mahabharata, I can understand it's not an ordinary literature. It is heavier than the scriptures in the world put together. And it's a complete, and it's very, very complete with the instructions of Arth, Dharma, Kama, and Moksha. And all that one desires is to know is illustrated perfectly in this literature. In addition, Mahabharata is an expansion of Vedic literature. Since you wrote Mahabharata, I understand that you know everything and you have knowledge of the scriptures. So again, what is the reason for your despondency? Lack of knowledge of the scriptures is not the reason for your despondency. This way he eliminates that answer. See, dear devotees, what are some of the reasons that can lead one to lamentation? One is, if you identify yourself with the body, you will be lamenting. If you identify yourself with the mind, you will be lamenting. Aren't these true? Think of it for yourself. And if you're going to if you do not have knowledge of the scriptures, you're going to be lamenting because you don't know. Say, for example, somebody dies. We cry. Of course, we have to cry. We have to. But ultimately, you understand that soul has reached Krishna, or that soul is there in a better destination, or you understand there is going to be migration. So when you have knowledge of the scriptures, that is not that you're not going to lament like everybody does. You're able to understand. So he's able to clearly understand, clearly point to Vyasadeva and tell him, see, you wrote Mahabharata, you have knowledge of the scripture, so that is not the reason for your lamentation. And then Narada is still trying to now find out, okay, what is the reason for Vyasadev's despondency? He thinks Vyasadev's lamentation is due to lack of realized knowledge of the scriptures. Yes, we understand he has theoretical knowledge of the scriptures. What about realized knowledge? If you do not have realized knowledge, that can also lead to lamentation. And then he's telling, he's telling Vyasadeva, in your case, you know what? You have investigated and made conclusions of Vedanta Sutras about the eternal Brahman that spreads everywhere in the form of impersonal Brahman. So you've experienced Brahman. And that is why you also have realized knowledge. So that is also not a reason for your lamentation. Like that, he eliminates one by one, dear devotees. And then finally, the point that I want to talk about is there is this beautiful conversation and the beautiful dialogue that's happening between Narada Muni and Vyasadeva. And finally, he's telling, you know what, Vyasa, you have described everything. You know, I'm cutting out on a lot of verses. And finally, he comes to a point to say, see, you have not described much about the spotless glories of the Lord, the superior position of Bhagavan's form, and his supreme attractiveness, his pastimes, his bhakti, the bhakti, and worshipping him and serving him. That aspect is not described much. I'm not talking about other avatars, Rama, Vamana, Makshya, Kurma, because all these are partial potencies or amshas of the Lord. I'm talking about Krishna. I'm talking about he having opulences in full. Be it wealth, be it power, be it fame, be it beauty, be it knowledge, be it renunciation, he has it in full. I'm talking about that person. Other avatars, they do not possess opulence or transcendental qualities in full, but Krishna does. And he is the complete manifestation of the absolute truth. You have not described much about the spotless glories of the Lord. So because again, Vyasadeva may say, see, I wrote Brahma Vimamsa scripture, which discusses about analytical establishment of Vedanta Sutras. It is the cream of the Vedanta. I established the Brahman. And how can you say I have not described much? He may argue, no? So for that, he's telling, see, I'm not talking about all that. I am talking about specific supreme personality of Godhead, Krishna, whose spotless glories you have not described much. This is what I'm talking about. So it is deficient because, again, why it is deficient? Because, see, the person who wrote it is not happy. I wrote Vedanta Sutra. Did I have to be happy at my heart? If I'm not happy, that means that is deficient of something, isn't it? Are you able to understand? So Vyasa is Narad Muni is telling Vyasadeva, if the writer is not happy about something that he has written, that means it is deficient of something. That's what I'm trying to tell you. How will the reader get the complete satisfaction if you are not satisfied? It will not fully please the reader's heart. So you prove that, right? And so this way he's proving that your writing of Brahma Mimamsa scripture is insufficient. Narad Muni is trying to help understand Vyasadeva about his insufficiency in writings. The writing of Brahma Mimamsa scripture, it's insufficient because it did not fully please your heart. If it did not fully please your heart, how will it please a reader's heart? Will it please a reader's heart? No. You're able to understand. This is how he's telling Vyasadeva. The 8th verse that is being quoted by Srila Prabhupada here talks about the insufficiency of all other scriptures because it did not please Vyasadeva's heart. Only after writing Srimad Bhagavatam, his heart was pleased. That means that is the scripture that can even take away the despondency of Vyasadeva. Then how much satisfaction it is going to bring to the readers. The glories of Bhagavatam is such that is the glory of Bhagavatam because it describes about the wonderful qualities and pastimes of Krishna. It talks about bhakti. It talks about devotion, Amalapura. So this is the glory that we are talking about, dear devotees. And that is the relevance. See how he's able to see by Narada talking about talking to Vyasadeva about his despondency and helping Vyasadeva understand that when you write Srimad Bhagavatam, when you talk about the spotless glories of the heart, your heart will be pleased because what you have written till now is insufficient. That is why you are despondent. But what you are going to talk about now will make you satisfied. And that is why the readers who hear Bhagavatam, they will also be immensely satisfied. Immensely. Because Krishna is the reservoir of happiness. So this is the point, dear devotees. And with this, he's just hearing of all this. Now we are going to hear about Leela avatars. It's going to be very, very good. And this will counteract all the fall matters accumulated in the year. So with this, we are going to now enter into the 7th chapter, which will talk about incarnations with specific functions. It's a beautiful chapter that's coming ahead. So with this, we will pause, dear devotees. Vansha kalpatarubhyasya kripasindubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta koti vaishnav vrind ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaura Bhakta vrind ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, our Acharyas and Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much. I know we've exhausted our time for today. And are there any questions or comments from the group? still people are thinking of questions, or maybe because it's quite late. I really enjoyed this session today, and for me it was important because association with devotees mean a lot to me. I was without association and I did so many things towards spirituality, but it didn't help me. But the association has really helped me. So that is a key point that I'm taking away. And then I also, when you were talking of not spending, not taking those 3 hours of extra work and not compromising on your sadhana, I was thinking of Rupa Goswami, and they used to work. They had these fantastic jobs, and then they gave that jobs up. So their glories came to my mind. But
Yes.
excellent session today. Any questions or comments? I think we are going to enter into a nectarian chapter now. As you said, I haven't read it, but and this prelude to that chapter is very nectarian as well. So one who identifies with mind and body, how can they be happy? I think that's the takeaway message for today's session. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Wonderful.
Parthu, is it possible for you to end the session for today? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Yes, Mataji, thank you so much for your nice and wonderful class. Really, already. It is a very, very nice class. Also, thanks all the devotees who are joining here in this forum. I request everyone, please unmute yourself and chant Hare Krishna mantra for glorification of Hare Krishna Radhika Kasturi Mataji. Please join everyone. Hare Krishna, Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare Rama,
Hare Rama, Hare
Rama,
Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyevcha patitanga pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo namo namaha.
Hare Krishna Radhika.
All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to all of you. Hare Krishna, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. So nice
Thank
class.
you.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. See you all next week. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.